Hi everyone, this is Case from D13 Airsoft, and today we're starting a new series on the channel. I'm going to call it Talk AAR, but it's a tentative title, and if you have better suggestions, I'm open to it. What this is supposed to be is a change from the longer form content of loadout or gear changes I have over the years. For example, I did an LBE review about over a year ago now. I am going to do another one this year, but that's a full year in between. And what that doesn't show you a lot of times is the minute changes I'm making gradually throughout that time to get to where I am by that next video. And that jump can sometimes be a little confusing because it doesn't tell you the full story. So what I hope this series to be is a journey where it's showing the minute changes from certain events throughout the years, showing me what is changed. Like, why did I adjust this harness that way, or why did I swap this pouch for this pouch, or why did I think, I want to get a blouse versus a combat shirt, or something I want to have on the rifle versus not. I mean, these type of things are often forgot about in the larger videos I do throughout the year. So I wanted to have something that kind of tracks this journey. The second thing I wanted to say is this entire philosophy to the channel of D13 Airsoft is largely, we're not experts on anything. We are just showing you our own growth through time, showing some things we are improving and get better at, and hopefully you guys can watch and find either entertainment out of it or perhaps some own knowledge on your end that will help you in your own life. Now, to start off with this first episode, what we are focusing on are a lot of the lessons learned for me personally at a recent Airsoft game called Atlantic Front. It was hosted by American Milsim at Black Ops Airsoft in Fayetteville, North Carolina. By the time you're seeing this video, the compilation of full gameplay video of that event has already been published. It was a great time. We really enjoyed it, but there were certain lessons learned from it that I wanted to focus on. How we're going to do this is start from the bottom at my boots, working all the way up, and just talking about some of the changes or things I learned from that event and what potentially in the future I'm going to start changing because of it. So, starting at the bottom, let's focus on the boots. Alright, so what I use are the Obos. I don't even remember what model they are. I've used these for goodness over a decade plus now. I have about 3 pairs. This one's only about 6 months old, still going strong. What I will notice is the event was very rainy, at least for the first half, and then incredibly muddy and swampy for the entire weekend. During that, I found the boots to be pretty decent in terms of waterproofing. I was going through some pretty muddy stuff, and it was overall pretty good. Now, what I'll also say is I do have multicam gaiters that would have really helped, but we were on the green faction, so I could not use it. And that comes into the second point, which is these Arcus combat pants. So Arcus is a UK company. I've only used these pants for just a couple of months, so a longer form review you'll see later on down the road. But what I would like to say is, even without the gaiters, you had these nice cuffs at the bottom near the boots that wrapped around pretty well and kept things pretty snug. You did get some water through it and into the socks, but most of the mud and debris was not. I've had cheap combat pants made in China in the past, like TMC, and they just didn't work around the cuffs, including with Obos. I used them specifically with that as well years ago. And it was pretty disappointing. I would wrap them around, and then immediately when I start running around, they came undone, and my socks inside of my boots were exposed to any debris that could get in there. These stayed pretty tight most of the event. I mean, every couple of hours maybe I would just readjust to make sure they were good, but overall, very good quality. We will see in time in a longer form review how well these pants hold up. But for now, pretty happy with them. What I'd also say is, if you notice with these pants, from the belt line in the front down to the first side pockets and cargo pockets, it's a pretty large gap of just plain pant. This is because with Arcus being a UK company, they expect a lot of guys to be using this with LBE or belt kit. So a lot of that portion of your pants would be covered up anyway, so there's really not a point of putting many pockets there, and they took that into their design, which I really appreciate. Alright, so this was the LBE kit I wore for the event. Now, I'm not going to go into every detail of this kit, as that's for a later video down the road. What I will say is there's at least 1 to 2 issues I found with this kit during this event. The first one was going over here and was this radio pouch. So this is a Eagle Industries radio pouch. I forgot which model, but I'll show some pictures. It originally had a larger pouch right here that I then removed just to make this flatter. The idea behind this is I am limited on MOLLE space because I have other pouches on here that I want to keep. And the radio was, for better or for worse, kind of a side idea in which I said, okay, well, what other places could I mount this? And what I decided on was utilizing the MOLLE on the siding of these JJ magazine pouches. Now, when you aren't wearing this kit, it kind of works, right? So if I have this thing right here, have my push to talk already ready, plug it in, and I just try to stick it in here, it will fit, and it's not the worst to get in, though it is a fabric pouch with a radio with external buttons on it. So even if I hit the number lock on it or the button lock, it will still sometimes make a noise recognizing that it had accidentally hit one of the buttons. That's all fine as long as it doesn't hit the talk button, but that's part of the issue, which is once it's in here, when I'm wearing this kit, this tends to really compress on the radio pouch. And if you're running around and smacking it like this, you're going to start seeing potential issues with the buttons being pressed. Buttons could become unlocked if you hold down the lock button too long, or you just keep hitting the talk button, at which point you are ending all over the mic, which is a bad thing to see. Now, the other issue I found with this is once I wear the kit, and with this being so compressed, it is also notably difficult to get this radio in and out without ending one of the buttons. Again, even if it's locked. And with me being a squad leader for the event, talking to the PO and trying to talk to my own guys, I realized, yeah, this isn't going to work out. So what I did during the event is I used one of these other magazine pouches and just stuck the radio in there. We were limited on what BBs we were allowed to have. I think it was 500 or 600. And what that meant was, I wasn't using all these pouches, so it worked out in the end. But for a long-term solution, I need to find a replacement for this, which comes into the near-term solution. Now, this is a Bordertown Kydex holster for the Bearfang radio. It uses the standard ones like this or the extended battery, both will fit. Now, I'm going to have to use this a lot more to give you a good decision on it, but this is where I'm going, is the more Kydex hardshell holster, and put it in the same location. See if that mitigates both the ability to take it in and out pretty quick, and also keep it from being compressed and accidentally ending any buttons on it. Alright, so the next issue I had was my comm setup. So this is a Protection Group Denmark Level 3 ballistic helmet. This is one of the first videos I ever did on the channel. Still going strong as a helmet, though what I have here are some Peltors. I think they're Comtac 3s. I've had them for quite a few years now, and due to that, they've been through a lot, and they're starting to hit the end of the road. You see here I had to have a duct tape just to keep this battery cover retained. On this side, you're starting to see some camo wrap, some duct tape on the talk piece wire portion. That's because, and I'll send some zoom in pictures of it for you, this is starting to break off around the ring frame on it. Now, in time, due to a lot of this, I'm probably going to start pursuing a different headset mount for these Peltors that's a little more durable. But until then, what I had to do for the event was, because this was busted and it would start to have half this Peltor muff start to break off, I had to wrap duct tape around this entire thing and then stick it, like that on my head. And for Airsoft it was fine, but what that means is until that gets fixed, this does not give you a proper seal on the left side if I'm going to use this with an actual firearm. So even today when I was out shooting, I had to do something different. I'm going to try to get that fixed without having to completely replace the Peltors, but time will tell. But that led to, for the game, again, I just had to wrap it around. And you know what? Ultimately, for comms, it worked out. And going into my last issue that I found during the event was my helmet scrim. Now, this is not the scrim I used for the event. I'll show you some pictures overlaying. That's the one I used. It's the one I've used for about 1.5 years now. Really enjoyed it. I like the way it looked. I like how kind of bushy and shaggy it looked. Really helped break apart your shape. The issue was, it is very easy to get caught on thorns and brush, and during Atlantic Front, I actually had to get completely yanked off twice due to how I had it set up on the helmet and some thorns winning that tug of war. What you're seeing now is a new solution to this. What it is underneath is a basic fast helmet cover, and with the elastic and webbing straps on the helmet cover, I used it to attach some cut strips of multicam fabric. This will be my tan helmet cover, and then I have a duplicate that is green with Marpat helmet cover. So if I ever want to go tan, I have this. If I want to go green, I'll have that. This is the camoed fabric is much easier to not get caught on thorns as much as the more like mesh-like material I was using before, and is also retained much better to the helmet. So hopefully this will heavily mitigate a lot of the issues I was having before. Alright, and with that said, that's all I have for you guys. This was a pretty down and dirty video. This is the first in the series that I would like to continue. So if you guys liked it, or if you have a better name for it, feel free to drop it down in the comments. I hope you guys enjoyed it, and that's all I had. So see you guys for next time.